Well, movie maniacs, it's finally arrived. The hard reboot reset, the next installment in the Terminator franchise. Now, if you caught my review of the Terminator Genisys trailer back in December, you know I'm a die-hard Terminator 2 fan. It's one of those films that struck me deeply and stuck with me throughout my entire life and has been one of my top favorite films of all time. Okay, I mean, I've got the poster, you know, I've got a script book, VHS copies of all the different editions. So when I heard this was coming out, you can see what my hesitation was in my trailer review. So now it does arrive, I've seen it, and we get the story once again of Kyle Reese, getting sent back by John Connor, the leader of the Resistance, to the machines in the future. He sends Kyle back in the past to protect Sarah Connor from being assassinated from a Terminator who's also been sent back in the past through the time device that Skynet has built. Skynet being the worldwide program that went online and decided to nuke the entire world. Well, when Reese gets to the past, things aren't what he was told, as it appears Sarah Connor really can take care of herself, and rather than just protecting her, he ends up joining in the battle that she has, the plan that she has, to actually stop Skynet from ever being born. And we see how that unfolds, how twists and turns come at us, and how an old enemy is now a friend once again. Alan Taylor, who brought us Thor Dark World, comes at us with this hard reboot of Terminator. And I will say, being a die-hard Terminator fan, I did go in with hesitation. Tried to stay an open mind, tried to keep that, you know, I was just not sure if I was going to enjoy this film. And first off, I can say this is the best sequel for the Terminator franchise. Well, this is more of a reboot, but it's time travel, so you could consider it a sequel. In any case, the best Terminator film to come out since Terminator 2, which is a bold statement, but then at the same time, if you consider the other two sequels, not that bold, really. It's not a bar was set quite so high, okay? Now, it's not, to me, as good as Terminator 2, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I will say this was very entertaining, and I did enjoy the script they came up with for the most part. I enjoyed seeing Arnold back as the T-800, the old Terminator. Loved seeing him in this role. He gets right back into it. He plays it well. Just the Terminator that I remembered from Terminator 2. And I will say I gave a little smile on my face when I saw him and when he was doing his lines. He played it very well, fell right back in the role, and you can tell he was very comfortable. Now we have Jai Courtney in here, taking the place of Michael Biehn as Kyle Reese. And I will say I liked Jai Courtney in this role as well. He fit within the context of this film that they set up. Really enjoyed his performance as Kyle Reese. Took me a little while to get used to it, being such a devout fan of the original two films, but after about 5 minutes or so, I bought into his Kyle Reese. I could feel it. He was really trying well, and he sold me as his Kyle Reese in the context of the new film, okay? Michael Biehn still was better in the Terminator 2, but here, okay, he sold me. All right, I got that, you know. Then there's, though, Jason Clarke as John Connor, who did all right in the role he was in. You know, the way he was written. Now, you've seen the twist in the trailer. If you haven't, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but in any case, they put a twist in one of the latest trailers. I wish they hadn't done that. Had they not done that, I would have been surprised and probably enjoyed this film more than I did. But the fact that they laid it all out to you in the trailer, pretty left no surprises in that regard, and that's a big surprise. It's kind of like the whole who's Luke's father thing in some respects. So, you know, I didn't quite like how they played that, but I liked how he played the character of John Connor throughout the film, and they did come up with a very interesting thing for his character that did feel new and refreshing. Now, we do get the T-1000 in here as well, and what's funny with the special effects with the T-1000 is the fact that the ones when the film first came out, Terminator 2, and they did the liquid metal now doesn't look that much better, and I don't know if that is a bad thing for stating of the effects today, or if that's a good thing for just how advanced the effects were back when Terminator 2 first came out. And perhaps they were going for a bit of a nostalgia feel, which I almost wish they didn't do. It sounds weird. As a big fan of Terminator 2, I'm like, all right, but I almost wish they hadn't tried to put as many references in the beginning of this film back to the original films as they did. And the reason is because just like with my review with Poltergeist, it kind of felt forced. They were trying to play off the nostalgia when there's other scenes in here that are more subtle plays on the nostalgia, and I liked those. But they, and don't get me wrong, they did good at replicating some of these scenes, but I really kind of wish they would have spun them a little bit differently than trying to do them exactly. And I understand it was their way of getting this hard reboot kind of working into the timeline, but if you're gonna go fresh, just go fresh, you know. Really. So there was a few missed opportunities there. Other missed opportunities, you got J.K. Simmons, Matt Smith, as well as a number of other talented actors and actresses in here that get very small parts. They could have been cast almost by anyone, and J.K. Simmons added more humor than I expected. There is actually quite a bit of humor in here, which leads me to why this film really isn't equal to Terminator 2, is the fact it's so light. I mean, we're dealing with nuclear war here, and this is still a lighter action film, okay? This isn't as heavy as T2 by any means. They keep things light and fluffy in the action, and it's not even the fact that it's PG-13. That didn't actually bother me too much in here, though I would have liked to see Arnold drop one F-bomb in a specific scene in here. It would have been nice to see that. The direction of it is very well done. I liked how the action sequences were done. It did feel like Terminator on Terminator action going on, so I enjoyed that. And I will say the special effects in here did look better than what they had in the trailer, which, again, yeah, the way they promoted this film, I think, was wrong. It came off wrong. This film is actually better than what the trailer led up to be, though I will say the way they wrote Sarah Connor's character in here is one of those things that really I thought was the weakest part, and you want it to be the strongest part. And it's the way they set up her whole character. You know, they set up her entire character and the history of her character. You would expect her to be different than the way she was. And I was, you know, it's not Emilia Clarke's fault at all. It's the way she was written, I think, and a bit of the way she was directed with this. Wanted a little bit harder, a little bit more a stronger female character than what we got out of her. She is still pretty strong in this, don't get me wrong, but there was just something missing from it, and I'm not quite sure what. Maybe it was because Linda Hamilton nailed that brass, hard as nails feel in Terminator 2. I'm not sure, but it's just something a little lacking there. There were also some holes in here, which you do get with time travel films. Sorry, there are a couple questions, especially in the third act, where I was like, if they could do this, why didn't they do this? Okay, I'm not going to spoil it here. We will be doing a spoiler room, though, on Monday, talking deeply about this film. Let's just say it is fun, okay? It is worth your price of admission. I will say those who are big fans of the Terminator franchise will notice that I was right in my trailer review. This is an amalgamation, especially in the first act, of the first two films. But after they get over the nostalgia hump, things actually pick up in the second act. And the third act, while it does get a little bit questiony, I did like the final battle in here and the way things played out. Also, look for a after-credits sequence. Don't leave right away like some of the people did in the theater. You will miss a part, which you can kind of expect if you've been following the history of what they plan on doing with this franchise at all. So, check it out. I give it 3 3/4 stubs. Okay, 3 3/4 stubs. Worth the price of admission. Worth going, seeing on the big screen. Arnold at his finest, falling right back into the place of the Terminator 2 character, the Terminator character, and Jai Courtney actually really selling me on Kyle Reese and the story once they get over trying to appeal to those from the past. It is actually a refreshing and a nice little spin on the whole Terminator mythology. So check it out. If you have checked it out, please leave your comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts on it. You know, there was potential for it to be more, but it wasn't as less as I thought it was going to be, and it was a pleasant surprise. That'll about do it for us here at The Final Cut. Again, make sure you check out our spoiler room next week, where we'll be talking in depth about Terminator Genisys, spoiling the hell out of it. So tune in then. Thank you so much for your support. We're growing in subscribers every day. Love to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. It's dreaming, I know, but hey, maybe I could go back in time, tap Kyle Reese, and see if he can help me out. But until then, tell your friends, have your friends tell their friends. Thank you so much. Comment, subscribe. Love you guys. And until next time, keep that ticket stub. And don't worry,
I'll be back.